Rick Sanchez is a broken man. There's way more to him than just ego. Like, if you actually look at Rick's character, it's pretty clear that he's not a true narcissist. And I'm gonna break it down. Number one, he hates himself more than anybody else. Okay, first of all, true narcissists are obsessed with themselves and think they're the best thing ever, right? They love everything about themselves and they usually have this inflated view of their own worth. But Rick, he's got so much self loathing. It's crazy. This guy has some serious internal battles going on. He's drinking constantly. He's tried to end it more than once. And he's always acting out in these self destructive ways. Like, if he were a true narcissist, he'd be out there treating himself like royalty instead of drinking himself to death in his garage. Remember the Pickle Rick episode? The whole reason he turns himself into a pickle was to avoid therapy. But it wasn't because he thought he didn't need it. I mean, he clearly needed it. It's because he can't face all the messed up stuff that he's done or what's going on in his head. Narcissists don't avoid looking at themselves. Rick, on the other hand, wants to avoid who he is as much as possible. That's literally the opposite. Number two, he actually cares about people. I know, he's always talking about how he doesn't care about anyone and how emotions are a chemical reaction or whatever. But his actions speak louder than words, and Rick's actions prove that he does care. Like, take Morty. He constantly drags Morty around into his chaotic adventures, and there are so many times where he risks his life or goes out of his way to keep Morty safe. A true narcissist wouldn't care. Like that episode where he thought Morty dies and he breaks down, like he literally loses it because he thinks he messed up and let Morty die. You can tell he's brokenhearted even though he tries to act tough. And there's also Bad Person, his best friend. Rick goes to huge lengths to save him multiple times, like that time he tried to bring him back to life. If he were truly a narcissist, he'd only care about the people who could benefit him. But Rick has put himself on the line for others, even if he gets nothing in return. Number three, he's super self aware. Another thing about narcissists is that they are totally blind to their flaws. They think they're perfect and blame everyone else for their troubles. But Rick, he knows exactly how messed up he is. He knows he's damaged. He knows he's hurt people. He's actually super aware about how flawed he is. It's like he has this nothing matters attitude because he sees the world as meaningless, but he's aware about how his actions affect others. Look at the episode where he creates an entire universe in his car battery. He realizes what he's done. He knows he's using people. He's aware about how messed up that is. He just believes it doesn't matter because he's so jaded and numb to everything. A narcissist would justify their actions and try to make themselves look like the hero, but Rick doesn't do that. He knows he's in the wrong and just doesn't care to fix it. Number four, he's been through some serious trauma. His behavior comes from years of drama. Like, we don't know his full backstory, but we've seen hints of it. He lost his wife, he's been through some messed up stuff across multiple realities, and he's experienced loss in a way that most people can't even imagine. Rick's actions and attitude are more of a response to all the trauma he's been through than a sign of narcissism. He's built up his walls to protect himself, but that doesn't mean he thinks he's perfect. It just means he's trying to avoid getting hurt again. Plus, in that one episode where the toxic goo that separates Rick's toxic traits from his healthy traits, the toxic self is like over the top, egotistical, but his healthy side is surprisingly vulnerable and nice. This shows us that a lot of his narcissism is just a shield he puts up, but not his true nature. Number five, he doesn't actually think he's better than anyone else. Rick might say that he's the smartest guy in the universe, but deep down, he knows that being smart doesn't mean being happy. He's not out here trying to prove his worth like a narcissist would. In fact, he knows his intelligence and all the things he's created haven't brought him happiness. If he truly believed that he was better than everyone, he wouldn't be so miserable all the time. And if you really think about it, he's not actually trying to show off his intelligence. He mostly hides in his garage, away from everyone, not caring if anyone knows what he's capable of. A narcissist would be flaunting their talents constantly, but Rick only shows us his skills when he has to. He's not about proving anything to anyone, he's just too smart to ignore the truth, and that depresses him. So yeah, Rick has some serious issues, but narcissism isn't really one of them. He's more of a tragic anti-hero who's broken down by his own mind and experiences. He uses humor and ego to protect himself, but underneath all that, he's a super complex guy who actually cares about people in his life. And if he were truly a narcissist, he wouldn't have the capability to feel regret, love, or even self-hatred. Rick might say he doesn't need anyone, but he keeps coming back to his family, keeps helping them, keeps risking himself for them. He's not a narcissist. He's just a guy who's been through so much that he's lost faith in the world. But deep down, he's still holding on to that little spark of connection. And I think that's what makes him so interesting. Because he's not that simple, the one dimensional bad guy. He's Rick Sanchez, and he's a lot more than he lets on. Bye.